show, Grizzly, bitch.
What up, Militia? I'm Joe Grizzly, and when I'm not discovering an extinction level fungus in the bottom of the storage facility that I'm working at, I'm at the Grizzly Cave, watching a review of movies while, of course, crushing beers. And I am back at the Grizzly Cave to bring y'all my review of the latest horror movie starring Joe Kerry, Georgina Campbell, and Liam Neeson, Cold Storage. Does Cold Storage deliver a horror comedy experience that does a little bit of a twist on the zombie genre, or does it fall flat? Let's find out. This is Grizzly Grade Reviews. So Cold Storage is the story of an ex-con played by Joe Kerry and a single mother played by Georgina Campbell who get this job at this storage facility, and as they are making their rounds and exploring the facility, they find a secret tunnel that goes down into a secret underground bunker that houses an extinction level fungus. And everything seems to be fine, but then the fungus finds some way to be released from this storage facility, and they are desperately trying to keep it from spreading all across the world. So I didn't have very high expectations for this movie. I knew it was a B movie starring Joe Kerry from Stranger Things and Georgina Campbell from Barbarian, and that alone was enough to sell me. You throw in Liam Neeson as this scenery-chewing FBI agent or ex-government agent, and I was sold immediately and was like, this could be a lot of fun. So after seeing it, does Cold Storage deliver a nice B-movie experience with a lot of laughs, some good gore, and maybe even some pretty cool practical effects? I'd say for the most part, yes, but there is some issues. Starting out with the positives, I think that the entire cast here is great. I think Joe Kerry does a really good job of playing this ex-con who's just trying to get his life back on track, who still hasn't really gotten life figured out outside of prison. And I think that Georgina Campbell does a great job of a struggling single mom who just wants to get through life and get a job so she can support her kid. I also feel like Liam Neeson plays a good job of playing this scenery chewing, hamming it up ex-government agent that has dealt with this killer fungus before. And I thought that all of their cooperation, once they all finally meet, I think is really good. I especially think that the on-screen chemistry between Joe Kerry and Georgina Campbell is very well done, that they both seem like they mesh well together. I think they did a good job of designing the set pieces, like from the storage facility being like more of a modern day storage facility to below the depths of it being this like underground bunker that has all these little containment areas in it. And I thought they did a really good job of delivering these set pieces that really feel like that this is how it would be if there really was a secret bunker under a storage facility. To go along with those set pieces, I think that the visual and the practical effects in this movie are great. I think that the design of the infected individuals and the infected animals look incredible and look absolutely disgusting. And I think that when this fungus is spreading all across the floor, the walls, and even on the bodies of individuals, that it looks incredibly visceral and incredibly real. So I think they did a really good job with that. But more importantly, I think that when the fungus is trying to spread itself everywhere, the means in which it does so is very, very cool and just absolutely gross. Like for instance, there are instances where the infected individuals, once the fungus has populated its body and it sees something else it can affect, they will literally explode into all these nasty bits and pieces that just fly everywhere and immediately start assimilating anything that it touches. I thought that that was really well done and just absolutely disgusting. And as a horror fan who loves violence and gore, it was something that scratched that itch for me. I thought it did a pretty good job of introducing the fungus and how it works and just how catastrophic it is if it ever gets out, and then kind of making that like in a flashback at the beginning of the movie and then transitioning to years later to the present day. I thought that that was a very good way of introducing us to the central conflict of the movie and then bringing it full circle to the modern day. that is something that wasn't overly done, and it was just something that was really simple and got the story going right away. One of the big appeals to this movie is it is funny as hell. There are some very, very good points in this movie where the comedy is natural, and it had the entire audience that I was watching this with laughing out loud. And I think that it has a lot to do with that chemistry I was talking about before. But when those moments happen, they're pretty damn funny. I think that this cast does a really good job of conveying all of that. And Liam Neeson in particular, there are just moments with his character where he has something happen and it is just something that should not be funny, that should be so damn goofy, and he somehow makes it hilarious. Moving on to the mixed aspect, I think that, just like I said before, that the practical and visual effects overall are very well done, but the moments that it is not very well done is so noticeable, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it. And I didn't put it in the negative section because it doesn't happen throughout the movie. It only happens at certain parts of the movie, and it's really inconsequential to the movie itself, but it was something that when I saw it, I definitely saw it, and I could not unsee it. Something I also wanted to put in the mix section because I felt like it was kind of a wasted opportunity is you had two great leads with Joe Kerry and Georgina Campbell, and then you had a great supporting lead with Liam Neeson playing this ex-government agent. The problem that I had with a big missed opportunity was they had Richard Brake playing like the corrupt general character that knows about this fungus, knows how dangerous it is, and just completely waves it off and doesn't care about what happens with it. I felt like they could have done so much more with that character, and in case anybody hasn't seen the movie, this is kind of a spoiler, kinda, not really, but I really wanted to see Richard Brake's character of this general. I wanted him to kind of become the central villain of the story. I wanted him to be more involved with what was going on at the storage facility instead of being kind of the shadow villain in the background who kind of knows what all is going on and just refuses to do anything about it. I felt like that if you somehow made him like the lead infected and made him like the mouthpiece of this fungus, he would have just chewed the scenery and he would have just been great, because Richard Brake is good at anything he does, particularly in a villain role. He is just fantastic. If you've never seen him in anything, I recommend you check out Rob Zombie's 31, where he plays Doomhead. He is a diabolically sinister and absolutely vile villain who I think would have done really good if they would have just let him do what he could do instead of reducing him to this background villain. Moving on to the negatives, and it's a couple of them that just go hand in hand together. I do feel like that the situation with this fungus is very dire and is something that is potentially world ending, but at the same time, I felt like that they didn't fully flesh out what this fungus could actually do. And not in the sense of I wanted it to do more as in the way it infects people. I wanted the infected to do more instead of walk around and needlessly wait until it can infect someone else. I wanted there to be more of a sense of suspense other than, oh shit, there's this gross person down at the end of this hallway, don't touch them. They do shine a little bit with that when one character in particular that's tied to one of the co-leads kind of gets infected and kind of does this pursuit scene in the movie where it kind of ratchets up a little bit of tension. But overall, when they get infected, they really don't do anything. And that was something that I felt like was another really big missed opportunity that kind of impacted the entire film for me. And the other big negative I have is the conclusion to the movie. It has this ticking clock type conclusion where they're racing to try to stop this situation from happening, and that they have a time limit in which they have to complete this. And once everything pops off and everything's good, it kind of just ends. And there is an epilogue per se, but I just felt like that ending and that epilogue was just super abrupt and rushed. And I wanted a little bit more out of that. And just like with how I wish that they would have done more with the infected, I do think that this affected the movie greatly for me. But overall, I thought Cold Storage was pretty good. I thought it was a pretty decent horror comedy. I just feel like that there was a lot of missed opportunities that could have taken this movie up a whole other score for me if it would have been executed properly. I do think the real reason to go see this movie is the really cool practical effects and the pretty good visual effects. But most of all, I think it's worth going to see just because of Georgina Campbell, Joe Kerry, and Liam Neeson. I feel like that those three actors and actress do a very good job of having this on-screen chemistry and this good camaraderie with each other. So I liked it, but I didn't love it. So with all that being said, Cold Storage gets a 3.25 out of 5. If you like Steve from Stranger Things, Joe Kerry, and you like Georgina Campbell and Liam Neeson, I think you're going to like this movie. I also think that if you like really gnarly special effects and some pretty good horror comedy, I think you're going to enjoy it as well. So if that's your jam, go check this out. This video, thank you all for your continued support and patience. Without y'all, this channel isn't possible. If you like this video, like it. And if you like it enough, please head over to the YouTube channel, hit the subscribe and bell button so you never miss a video. Also, please follow me on all social media platforms so you get channel updates, movie news, and all forms of badassery. If you click right here, you'll get my latest Grizzly Grade review video. If you click right there, you'll get all of my Grizzly Grade reviews. So until next time, remember, I'm Joe Grizzly, bitch.